So, if you're a homeowner, maybe in a place like Niceville or Fort Walton Beach, you've probably been told you have just two real choices when it's time to sell your house. You either hire a super expensive agent or you go it alone and do all the work yourself. But what if that's a false choice? What if it's a choice that's actually designed to cost you money? Today, we are going to explore a much smarter way to sell.
This right here, this is the question that keeps sellers up at night, isn't it? It feels like this simple black and white choice between paying a really hefty commission or just taking on all of the stress and all of the work yourself. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the choice you think you have is actually, well, an illusion?
For decades, the real estate industry has basically presented us with just two doors. Door number one, that's the traditional agent, your 6% first class ticket. It feels safe, sure, but man, is it expensive. Then there's door number two, do it yourself. That's the coach seat where you are doing all the heavy lifting. This creates this total false dilemma, and it forces you to pick between feeling overcharged or just completely overworked. Okay, so let's talk about that DIY option for a minute. The idea of saving a commission, I get it. It is incredibly seductive. You see the ads, you hear the stories, and you start thinking, hey, I can do this. I can save thousands of dollars. But the reality, it's often very, very different. So let's peel back the layers on this illusion. This slide just captures the DIY trap perfectly. It looks like savings, it pays in stress. The initial appeal is all financial. It's all about the money. But the true cost is measured in stress, in lost time, and, as you're about to see, in actual lost money. All right, let's look at the actual numbers because they really don't lie. Say you have a $350,000 home. You might think you're saving that big commission, but you still have to offer a commission to the buyer's agent. That's usually 2.5% to 3%, which is around $9,000, just to get qualified buyers to even walk in the door. Then you add professional photos, marketing, and then the biggest risk of all, pricing errors. Just mispricing your home, even by a few percent, can cost you over $10,000 right off the top. So here's the bottom line. When you add it all up, the commission for the buyer's agent, the marketing costs, the time you lose from your job and your family, and the potential for a lower sale price because of a negotiation slip-up, you're not really saving money. You could be losing upwards of $15,000 and doing all the work yourself. And this right here, this brilliantly illustrates the real risk. I mean, think about it. You trust a dentist for a really complex procedure on one tooth, so why on earth would you try to perform a far more complex and way more financially significant transaction on your single biggest asset? Selling a home isn't a hobby, it's a high-stakes business deal. So, if DIY is a trap and the traditional route is just too expensive, what's left? This is where a modern approach completely changes the game. It's not about choosing between being overpriced and being overworked. It's about getting professional results without all those bloated costs. This modern model is really built on four key ideas. First up, commission control. We're targeting a total commission around 3%, not 6%. Second, a pre-inspection strategy, which puts you in the driver's seat during negotiations. Third, data-driven pricing to get your home sold fast and for top dollar. And finally, focused professional marketing, but without the high overhead of a traditional brokerage. It's just lean, it's effective, and it's totally focused on the seller. Okay, so that's the theory, but how does it actually work in practice? Let's break down the step-by-step system and really look at the math that makes this approach so compelling for sellers. The process itself is really straightforward and strategic. It all starts with a strategy session to get aligned on your goals. Then comes that proactive pre-inspection. After that, it's market prep. We're talking staging, photos, getting the listing absolutely perfect. Then data-driven pricing, launching the marketing for broad exposure, and finally, expert negotiation to guide you to a smooth, chaos-free closing. It's a professional system from start to finish. And this chart, this is where it all comes together. On that same $350,000 home, a traditional 6% commission could cost you $21,000. The DIY route, like we saw, is a gamble that could cost you $15,000 or even more. But with this modern, smarter commission model, you keep an extra $10,000 to $15,000 of your own equity. At the end of the day, the math is just undeniable. So with all this information, how do you decide what's truly the best path for you? Because the truth is, there isn't one single right answer for every single person out there. Your situation is unique. So let's get down to some real talk. This slide lays out the options so clearly. Look, if you already have a buyer lined up and you're totally comfortable with all the legal paperwork, hey, DIY could be for you. If you want a full service, completely hands-off experience and the commission isn't your main concern, a traditional brokerage is a solid choice. But if you're looking for that professional support and marketing while keeping more of your own equity, then a modern, smarter commission model is probably the best fit. So as we wrap this up, this is the final question you've got to ask yourself. When you sell your home, that equity is yours. It represents years of payments, maintenance, memories, all of it. Is that money going to fund your next chapter? A down payment, retirement, your kids' education? Or is it going to pay for an agent's franchise fees and their big office overhead? The choice now more than ever is yours.